Welcome to Wrestler of the Week, Week 19. It pretty much works like this. If you are a professional wrestler and you made the most impact over the past 7 days, you will be named Wrestler of the Week. Every week, points will be tabulated, and whoever has the most points at the end of the calendar year will be named Male and Female Wrestler of the Year. If you want to see what I use as criteria for Wrestler of the Week, be sure to check out my Week 1 episode. What an insane week. We had Clash at the Castle, we had TNA Against All Odds, we had continued build towards Forbidden Door, and we got so much stuff going on in terms of title changes and title defenses, surprising title changes, and another big interpromotional match being set up. So let's just get into it. First, the women and some honorable mentions. Naomi won a very good match against Chelsea Green on SmackDown, and I am of the belief that SmackDown may be in the process of heating her up for a potential title opportunity. 2024 Queen of the Ring Nia Jax absolutely obliterated Michin on SmackDown. While it seems like a potential alliance is forming between her and Tiffany Stratton, as Jax looks ahead to Bayley and their title match at SummerSlam. Speaking of Tiffany Stratton, she appeared on SmackDown as a potential ally of Nia Jax, but even better was her entertaining commentary during the match between Jax and Michin. This lady is a star, and I got her winning Money in the Bank this year for the women. Let's see if my prediction rings true. Red Velvet won her match against Viva Van on Ring of Honor television to warm her up for a potential matchup against Ring of Honor Women's Television champ Billie Starkz. Wendy Chu made her return on NXT with what seems to be a new evil take on her character. Chu, Sky Blue, and the Unholy Union need to form a stable. Steph DeLander accepted PCO's request for a date at TNA Against All Odds, and this madcap love story moves on. I am enjoying myself with the Beauty and Beast homage that they're going for. Both Michin and Lola Vice from NXT seem to have positioned themselves for title opportunities. Michin against Kalani Jordan for the NXT Women's North American title, and Lola Vice perhaps against Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title in the future. And those are a couple of great challengers. Let's go. And finally, Piper Niven, even in defeat, had a hell of a match against Bayley at Clash of the Castle. And I believe it was one of those performances that opened a lot of eyes to how talented she really is, and I hope she continues to get more opportunities as her career progresses in WWE. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the women. We kick off the list with the amazing Chelsea Green, who is fucking awesome. Whether it is her very good TV match with Naomi on SmackDown, her overall character work in WWE, or Chelsea Green making a hilarious impact at Clash of the Castle, Chelsea is one of my favorite performers in all of wrestling. Give her more to do. That's all I got to say. Chelsea Green is amazing, and I hope she gets featured even more. This lands her at number 10 for the women. We have a tie with two women's champs who made an impact in their brief time on wrestling television this week at number 9. WWE World Women's Champ Liv Morgan continued to play some major mind games with Dominic Mysterio, offering her hotel room key and stating instead of submitting to mommy, he should get with someone who is willing to call him daddy. God damn, the Dom manipulation is real, and Liv is so good at being this evil, calculated, manipulative heel that it is going to help give Rhea Ripley a hero's welcome when she returns. At the same timeless, AEW Women's Champ Timeless Toni Storm would have a match on Collision against Alex Windsor in a good non-title match that saw Storm pick up the win with the Storm Zero, and we are officially on an AEW Collision course between Storm and Mina Shiraka at Forbidden Door. And where does Mariah May play into this? Timeless. will tell. But we have a super intriguing triangle of emotions playing into this storyline, and I am all for it. This week, two of our main female champs, WWE World Women's Champ Liv Morgan and AEW Women's World Champ Toni Storm, land on the list at number 9. At number 8, we have a tie for the ever-incomparable Utami Hayashita, who at Marigold Grand Opening Wars 2024 defeated Nana Takahashi in the main event. But in an even bigger development, former WWE Women's Champ Io Sky was announced to compete against Utami at Marigold Summer Destiny in a Queen of Queen match. Also, Io Sky won a great match against Lyra Valkyria on Monday Night Raw to prove she still has a lot left, even after losing her title to Bayley after WrestleMania, before going crazy and exclaiming that something in Damage Control needs to change. What does that mean? I don't know, but unhinged Io Sky is the best Io Sky. The future collision between Io and Utami is a major story as WWE continues to reach out to other promotions to allow their talent to appear, which one, gives WWE more exposure globally, but two, and most importantly, puts eyeballs on the smaller promotions when you have a big name star. And there may not be a bigger name to return to Japan outside of Asuka than the former Io Shirai, who is still one of the best wrestlers, male or female, in the world, and a match between her and Utami should be a true certified banger. July 13th can't come soon enough. Former WWE Women's Champ Io Sky and Marigold's Utami Hayashita land on the list this week at number 8. The virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo arrives on the list at number 7, and she won a great, intense, no DQ match against Thunder Rosa on Collision that kicked off the action right away, with Rosa kicking a chair repeatedly in Deonna's face before Samoan dropping her through a table. Purrazzo's frustrations with not being able to hit Venus de Milo on Rosa hit a fever pitch when Deonna grabbed a camera and knocked Rosa the fuck out to secure the knockout victory. This was a major win for Purrazzo, as it feels like she is being built back up for a potential title opportunity. But who could she gun for? She has already lost to timeless Toni Storm, plus she is a heel now, so perhaps a face-off with Mercedes Moné may be something more sensible in the cards. Let's see what the future holds, but the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo's big win on Collision gets her to the list at number 7 for the women. Billie Starkz, the current Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champ, won a good proving ground match against Sandra Moon on Ring of Honor Television, and that helps to land her on the list at number 6. Starkz is one of the more consistent performers this year, low-key wrestling sometimes twice or 3 times a week in other promotions, while also keeping a stranglehold on the women's television title that she won. I believe we are barreling towards a showdown between Starkz and Red Velvet, and that has the potential to be a lot of fun. But seriously, people need to stop sleeping on Billie Starkz. 19 years old, people. I talk about Roxanne Perez and how she's the prodigy. While if Starkz continues to learn and excel and improve, within a few years, we may need to pass that nickname along to her. But I am always down for Billie Starkz. As I've said in the past, her alliance with Ring of Honor Women's Champ Athena really helped to bring Starkz out of her shell, and it is paying dividends. Billie Starkz is the number 6 female wrestler of the week this time around. Tatum Paxley from NXT is on the list at number 5, and she had a very impactful week, responding to Jordynne Grace's open challenge at Against All Odds and competed in a really good match that I think opened a lot of eyes. Paxley is currently more character than in-ring performer, but that character work definitely helps her with the fundamentals, and I personally was really impressed with how she was able to keep up with Grace and kept the intensity the entire match. Paxley's heel turn after she and Lyra Valkyria split has been great for her career. She has been able to embrace a darker side that really allows her to be more aggressive, and I believe she is one of the NXT women who is really ready to move up to a title shot on NXT. Perhaps Paxley and new NXT Women's North American champ Kalani Jordan will eventually cross paths. I am looking forward to what's next, but Tatum Paxley, goddamn girl, you put in some work and I am excited to see the next chapter in her career. Tatum Paxley lands on the list for the women at number 5. All hail the CEO of AEW, TBS champ Mercedes Moné, who on Dynamite held back a great challenger in Zexius from CMLL to defend her title in preparation for her showdown with New Japan Strong title holder Stephanie Vacker in their title for title match at AEW Forbidden Door. I will say this, Mercedes has been bringing the heat in between the ropes. Even if she isn't the greatest promo, what butters Moné's bread is what she's able to do in the ring, and Zexius was a great opponent to showcase just how versatile Moné is in the ring. The match between her and Vacker should be a banger. I sort of wish it wasn't title for title as a personal preference because I really like Stephanie Vacker and I just don't want her falling through the cracks if she loses the title that has helped to shape her career so far in 2024. But this isn't about Vacker. We are talking about the CEO of AEW, Mercedes Moné, who successfully defended her AEW TBS Women's title, and that lands her at number 4 for the women. Current WWE Women's Champ Bayley lands on the list at number 3 for successfully defending her title against a very game Piper Niven in a mild hostile environment in Glasgow to get the Duke. The match at Clash of the Castle was all about Piper basically destroying Bayley for 15 minutes, Chelsea Green being fucking awesome as always. I am going to make Blue Chelsea Green a thing. And after several failed attempts to hit a rose plant on the larger Niven, it took a latch-ditch effort crucifix pin for the victory, and Bayley barely escaped. And already we now have a great story in place for Bayley and her eventual challenger, Queen of the Ring Nia Jax, and the potential SummerSlam matchup. Bayley barely scraped by a victory over an opponent larger than she is. But Nia is even stronger than Piper, so how deep can Bayley dig to find a way to victory? Or is this just prolonging the inevitable Nia Jax title reign? Time will certainly tell, but it feels like Bayley's title reign is just getting out of the blocks. So I am interested in what direction WWE takes with the women's title, but for now, it still looks good around Bayley's waist, and that major title defense at Clash of the Castle has her landing on the list at number 3. The ever-dominant juggernaut of the TNA Knockouts division, the TNA Knockouts champ Jordynne Grace finds herself at number 2, and she had a very busy week. After losing her NXT Women's title match against Roxanne Perez, she announced an open challenge for Against All Odds, which Tatum Paxley from NXT answered. We got half crabs, neck breakers, and muscle busters. The story of the match was basically Grace is the dominant powerhouse, but Paxley is crazed enough to do anything to win, while also having to keep Ash by Elegance at bay. Grace was able to level up and hit the Juggernaut driver on Paxley for the win, and there are definitely 2 directions TNA can go in. Ash by Elegance versus Grace for the title, or if they really wanted to go crazy, have Roxanne Perez challenge for the Knockouts title, confident that she could win as she already holds a victory over Grace. There are various options the promotion can go, and that is always a good thing. But Grace, as I have mentioned before, just continues to be a dominant fighting babyface champ, and I can't even begin to gauge what kind of bright future she has. Jordynne Grace, the ever-powerful juggernaut of women's wrestling, lands on the list at number 2. and the female wrestlers of the week. And I am as shocked as you are, but no less excited about it, are the new WWE Women's Tag Champs, the unholy union of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who at Clash at the Castle shocked the world with their victory in a triple threat match between them, former champs Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. The match started out hot, with all 6 women doing their best to kill each other. There were some hiccups along the way with a scary slip by Jade Cargill on the ropes, but that didn't matter at all, as Bianca and Jade would hit their new combo finisher on Baszler, but Dawn would take advantage to pin the Queen of Spades, and the roof blew off the arena at Glasgow when the unholy union captured the titles. This is their first run with these particular titles, even though they were women's NXT champs in the past. I am very happy for Fire and Dawn, who are great wrestlers. Fire is still the longest reigning WWE NXT UK Women's Champ, and I can't even imagine the emotion she felt while still having to mentally deal with her recent family tragedy. But hopefully this little moment provided some joy. Honestly, WWE should take this opportunity to really have true dominant tag champs this time around. I would be perfectly fine with our witchy duo holding on to that gold for a long time to really establish some shine on those belts. Will it happen? Past history says no, but we are in a new era, so who knows? What I do know is that Fire and Dawn are fucking fantastic, and they truly earned this special hometown moment. For their crazy, shocking victory at Clash at the Castle, the new WWE Women's Tag Champs Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are your Week 19 female wrestlers of the week. And now to the men and some honorable mentions. Rising Hayato would retain his AJPW World Junior title against Fuminori Abe at AJPW Dream Power Series 2024. AEW champs Swerve Strickland and the Elite found themselves in each other's crosshairs as the Elite attempted to recruit the champ for a future blood and guts match, which Swerve didn't seem too receptive to. And with the impending return of Swerve's greatest rival, Hangman Adam Page, we may see the Elite find an end towards a shot at Swerve's title, if they decide to rehire him. Mance Warner defeated Jordan Oliver to defend his GCW World title at GCW Lights Out 2024. Kushida returned at TNA against all odds to aid Sami Callihan after his victory against Jonathan Gresham. Dirty Dango made his appearance felt, as he seemingly may have joined the system after helping Moose defeat Matt Hardy by turning on him and celebrating with the faction afterwards. I was okay with the system having 4 core members, but Dango does need something to do as well, and this heel turn may breathe new life into his career. Jeff Hardy made his return to TNA at Against All Odds to rescue his brother Matt, who lost to Moose in the main event for the TNA World title and was about to fall victim to a vicious beatdown from the system. Now that the Hardys are in TNA, are we looking at new challengers for Myers and Edwards tag titles? We will see. Otis made an impact at the end of the Sami Zayn-Chad Gable Intercontinental title match at Clash of the Champions, directly causing Gable to lose. When Otis finally turns on Gable, it will be amazing. Christian Cage made an appearance on AEW Collision, declaring that the Patriarchy is gunning for the Trios titles, while also letting Tony Khan know that he is his father now. Christian Cage is simply doing some of the best work of his career right now. Finally, we have WWE United States champ Logan Paul and LA Knight, who continued their feud with an entertaining segment on SmackDown that saw Knight enjoying himself uninvited at Logan Paul's home and lounging in his pool. Their match at SummerSlam is going to be bonkers. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the men. Kicking off the list at number 10, we got Andrade, the new WWE Speed Champion, after defeating Ricochet this past week. This is a good fit for Andrade as a fast-paced high flyer who is able to get a lot of offense in a short period of time and perfect for the Speed format. Obviously, it seems as if Andrade received the title as Ricochet is on his way out of WWE allegedly, but here's my take. Whenever Andrade has gold to fight for, he seems to kick things up a notch, so I am looking very forward to his reign as Speed Champ. Now put him and Zelina Vega back together, as that was a can't-miss pairing. At least do that before Charlotte returns, and she and Andrade make for a real power couple. But for now, congratulations to the new WWE Speed Champ Andrade, who lands on the list at number 10 this week. We have a tie at number 9 for a pair of men's tag teams that retain their titles. First, Awesome Truth would retain their titles in a short match against the Authors of Pain on Monday Night Raw, while the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, would defeat the Nemeth Brothers at Against All Odds to defend their belts. I love Awesome Truth. I feel they've cooled off a little bit since their big WrestleMania match and moment, but they are still very entertaining as a tag team, and R-Truth is just an international treasure that should be protected at all costs. While TNA is clearly all in on the System and the faction owning all the gold, and that just continues here. Our two retaining tag champs from Raw and TNA find themselves at number 9. The leader of the Bloodline 2.0, Solo Sikoa, arrives on the list at number 8 for winning a major SmackDown main event match against Kevin Owens that had a stipulation that if Solo lost, he would no longer lead the Bloodline, which gave us this little gem.
If I lose this match, I'm coming after you.
The match was a great hard-hitting affair that saw Solo hit KO with 2 Samoan spikes for the win. Even with the return of Randy Orton to help KO out, it did not negate this major singles victory for Solo, who is being positioned as one of the top heels when Roman Reigns eventually returns to reclaim the Bloodline as his faction. Also at Clash at the Castle, Solo made his presence felt attacking Cody Rhodes post his I Quit match against AJ Styles before being saved by Owens and Randy Orton. But man, I am digging this new, violent, manipulative version of Solo. He needed this if he was going to evolve as a character, and with a major victory under his belt to solidify himself as the tribal chief. For now, we have Solo Sikoa, who is the number 8 entry for the men. The AEW International Champion Will Ospreay lands on the list at number 7 as he retained his AEW International title in a great match against Rey Fenix on Dynamite before having a face-to-face with AEW World Champ Swerve Strickland ahead of their match at Forbidden Door. As much as I really believe it is nowhere near the time for these two to meet, I will say that at the very least, I am excited for the prospects of the match itself, as they are both truly talented athletes. But Ospreay has been presented since his arrival as one of AEW's biggest stars, and I wonder if they will keep the momentum going and have Ospreay get the victory, or if this will simply be Swerve's biggest test yet. This reminds me of Cody versus Logan Paul at King and Queen of the Ring not too long ago, and I said the same thing where I personally don't like it when promotions cannibalize their secondary champs by feeding them to their main one. Unless there is unification involved, the titles and those holding them should be separate from each other. But that's just me and my own biases. Will Ospreay, though, finds himself in a truly enviable position as the number 1 contender to the AEW World title, along with defending his own international title, and that brings Ospreay to the list at number 7. The voice of the voiceless, the straight edge one himself, CM Punk finds himself on the list at number 6, and talk about maximizing your time to make an impact. At the conclusion of the World Heavyweight title match at Clash at the Castle between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, we got a ref bump. Drew would hit a Claymore on Priest to seemingly win the title, but when a new ref sprinted down to the ring to count the 3, he revealed himself to be the straight edge superstar. And let me credit WWE's production team for pulling that masterful shot of where no one could tell until they saw Punk's shoes what was going on. Punk would hit Drew low, allowing Damian Priest to hit South of Heaven for the win, and as Chef HBK would say, this rivalry between Punk and McIntyre is really beginning to cook, and I believe we get our main course at SummerSlam. Who would have thought CM Punk getting injured as potentially being the best thing to happen, as WWE has been able to capitalize and still get a money feud out of him, which proves how valuable Punk is to any roster because he can be inserted and excel within so many roles in wrestling. But he best excels at being a prickly, spiteful, sociopathic agent of chaos, and did he ever bring that to Scotland? My body is not ready for Drew McIntyre between CM Punk. The fact that this doesn't even need a title to keep the heat on speaks volumes. But man, CM Punk did Drew McIntyre dirty this week, and that lands him at number 6 for the men. The destructive Braun Breaker is on the list at number 5, and this guy on Monday Night Raw was basically the equivalent of a human wrecking ball, as he would have a great match with, but would take down Ilya Dragunov, and then after that would absolutely annihilate Ricochet, essentially writing him out of WWE if reports of Ricochet's WWE exit is to be believed. At first, it seemed like WWE was spinning its heels a little with Braun when he first arrived on the main roster, but the past month he has been killing it, figuratively and literally, with his beef with Raw GM Adam Pearce and his ongoing feuds with Ilya and Ricochet. Having Braun destroy both Ilya and Ricochet in the same night is a hell of a statement to make, and I'm going to say it now. I believe Braun Breaker is the favorite to win the men's Money in the Bank briefcase this year in Toronto, which I may be at. But Braun is a beast. This guy is going to be positioned as WWE's next major star, and the Steiner blood is just Big Papa pumping through his veins, so he already has a great pedigree and foundation. But man, when he hits those ropes at the velocity he does, it's a thing of beauty. Braun is wrecking bitches, and that brings him to number 5 this week for the men. The current TNA X Division champ Mustafa Ali is on the list at number 4 for retaining his TNA X Division title against Trent Seven at TNA Against All Odds in a really great match. Prior to the match, Seven tried to expose Ali with footage of Ali saying that he doesn't live in Chicago and doesn't even care about the championship, but the audio was bad on the video and the live crowd was not able to hear what he said. But it didn't matter, as the Chicago crowd loved them some Ali anyways. The match itself was a banger that saw Ali hit a 450 on Seven's legs before locking in a sharpshooter for the submission victory, and I am digging Ali using the sharpshooter as a finisher, as some fans will hate that, and that's the point. Speedball Mike Bayley is now in line for a shot of Slammiversary in Montreal, and oh god, I just made the connection. Let's see if that is something too good for Mustafa and Ali to pass up recreating. But for now, we aren't talking about screw jobs. We're talking about Mustafa Ali getting the job done. retaining his TNA X Division title, and that lands him at number 4 this week. Sami Zayn remains your reigning and undisputed WWE Intercontinental Champion after defeating Chad Gable at Clash at the Castle, and that brings him to number 3 on the list. This was a great match that saw Gable as the aggressor, as Sami really had to fight from underneath. The match saw dueling German suplexes, flying headbutts, and brainbusters, but in the end, the match saw Maxine get injured at the moment Gable ordered Otis to take Zayn out as the ref was distracted, but Otis instead chose to protect Maxine and take her to the back. One hell of a kick later, and has the door closed on this storyline? Gable has lost to Zayn twice now, so it seems like he has to get back in line unless WWE has some wild final gimmick match planned to blow off the feud. But for now, and still, your WWE Intercontinental Champ, Sami Zayn, who lands on the list at number 3. 2 major world title holders find themselves at number 2 for defending their belts this weekend. First, Moose defended his world title against Matt Hardy at TNA Against All Odds in a wild brawl that climaxed when Moose pulled Reby Hardy, Matt's wife, into the way, causing Hardy to spear her through a table. This allowed Moose to hit a spear and claim the victory. At the same time, Cody Rhodes defended his WWE title against AJ Styles at Clash at the Castle in a great I Quit match that had Cody win when Styles was threatened by harm via steel steps. Both champs showed real aggression in their matches, Moose being a dastardly heel with it, while Cody had to embrace his darker side to win. I honestly love both these men as champs. I think they played their roles as babyface and heels to perfection, and their title runs are set up in a way that whoever beats them will get a great rub from it. But as of now, we got our 2 main champs, WWE Champ Cody Rhodes and TNA World Champ Moose, who land on the list at number 2. And the Week 19 Male Wrestler of the Week is El Campeon, the reigning WWE World Heavyweight Champ Damian Priest, for going into the Lion's Den at Clash of the Castle against Drew McIntyre and still retain the World Heavyweight title. Now, it would take an assist by CM Punk, but this is still a major victory for Priest, especially after his gutsy performance on one leg after getting tangled in the ropes in a scary moment. That razor's edge on one leg? The top rope Hurricane Rana? Boss moves. I believe this performance made a lot of believers out of Priest while helping to remove that transitional champ stigma label that Priest was first slapped with after cashing in at WrestleMania 40. Also, his reign had been marred by the Judgment Day's constant interference, so them not being there also helps to add credibility to his reign. But Gunther lurks in the shadows, awaiting his SummerSlam title shot, and that will ultimately be Priest's biggest test. Will he be up for the challenge? Time will tell, but for now, congrats to El Campeon, World Heavyweight Champ Damian Priest, for defending his title, and that makes him the Week 19 Male Wrestler of the Week. And now the weekly standings for the men and the women. Yeah, this was a hell of a week, and the next week coming up, I expect to be absolutely bonkers as well as we barrel towards SummerSlam, Slammiversary, and AEW Forbidden Door. What's going to happen? Who's going to pop up next week? What did you think of my picks for Wrestler of the Week? Do you agree or disagree? share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.